top shelf.
Hello and welcome to Thunder Alley. I'm Hubba, and today we're going to be going over the tracks for the new trackback expansion for Thunder Alley. Check it out. Alright, so this is Snug Harbor. This is one of the bigger tracks for Thunder Alley. If you look at the board here, you have right down here, it tells you that it's made for Thunder Rally and both Grand Prix. If you're playing the Thunder Rally though, you're going to be lining up the starting grid on this side of the finish line. And if you're playing Grand Prix, you'll line up on this side. So Thunder Rally will race clockwise or counterclockwise, and Grand Prix will race clockwise. Also, for this map, Thunder Rally is a big, it's a bigger track. You'll notice the dotted lines up here. One thing to make sure when you're racing on this map is to only count the spaces of the track that you're actually racing on. If you're racing on the big outside portion, you'll ignore these dotted lines, which show the track breaking off into the Grand Prix track. However, if you're racing the Grand Prix track, you'll count these spaces as spaces instead of the original Thunder Rally spaces. For Thunder Rally, you're only going to race 2 laps, whereas if you're racing Grand Prix, you're going to race 3 laps. So the board breaks down all the information that you need to know. Down here, it's still got your speed penalties, which is actually a little bit more simplified than the original Thunder Rally tracks. It's a smaller box, and it's a lot quicker. 0, 1, or 2 tokens, you take no effect. 3, you have -3 to your speed, etc. So that's a really nice addition to the tracks. It's a lot cleaner looking and gets the information out there a lot faster. So that's Snug Harbor. All right, this is Wellington Raceway. It's got a similar. The Thunder Alley is the bigger outside portion. It's got a similar shape as one of the tracks in the base game of Thunder Alley. One of the differences though is that the corners have 3 lanes as opposed to 2, and then it also breaks into 4 lanes on the straightaways. Likewise, on this track, you'll see that there's a Grand Prix track that breaks off and goes through, which is just a single lane for the most part with a couple of double lanes. On these tracks, if you are racing on the Grand Prix track, there's a lot of single lanes. If you were to have a restart and you lined up your cars and you had to line them up on these single spaces and there was multiple of them, basically you would stack the cars on a restart. So you would stack your cars up individually like normal in the 2 lanes, but when you came here, the 2 that were supposed to be here would stack on top of each other. And when a card is played, if it's a card that's activating that's not the 2 in the single space, the cars will get pulled, the whole stack will get pulled and moved together. Whereas when you play a card that moves one of the cars in the stack, then that car will move by itself and it won't link to the car underneath of it or the car above it. So that's how the restart works with the Grand Prix track if you're racing with Thunder Alley. Okay, so that's Wellington Raceway. All right, on this map we have 2 different tracks. These are 2 of the smaller tracks specifically designed for Thunder Alley. You have your small road course. That's just a solid 2 lanes all the way around. This one is pretty straightforward. There's nothing unique as far as change of rules or anything like that. It's a very tight course. You can get lapped very easily and expect a lot of lapping with this one. Your standard, this is actually a 4-lap race, and it goes pretty quickly. Over here you have your dirt track. This is the the Fraley & Sons Dirt Oval. This one the unique thing about it, if you look down here on the corner, it tells you right on the board that cars may not change lanes in a corner. So whenever your car's moving around here, you can't change and go, displaced or laterally or anything like that. You got to just stay in that lane. That makes for some interesting racing. And then the straightaways open up to a three lane track. Makes for cars tend to stay in a single line because nobody can really pass on the corners, and you don't really dare get out of the group on the straightaway. So it can make for some interesting racing and some interesting tactics on what you decide to do with your cards. Likewise, this is a 4-lap race, and you have your speed penalties over here in the corner. So let's take a look at the hybrid track. All right, this is the hybrid track. It's the Renee Hackman Memorial Speedway. This one's designed for both Grand Prix and Thunder Rally, and it's basically a road course. You'll see that it's got 2 different variations. You get your standard one that goes around, or you can break off and come down into the center of the racetrack and back out. So that provides a little bit of variation. For this map, when you do the starting grid, you'll see you get your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spaces like normal. However, the starting grid goes through a space that's a single lane. But for the starting grid purposes, the dashed lines, you'll treat this single space as a double space. So you'll have 1 car in the 11 spot and 1 car in the 12 spot. Likewise, for this single lane, you'll have 1 in the 13 spot, 1 in the 14 spot. So only during the initial starting grid will you treat this corner as a double lane. Once there is either no car in the lane, or there's only 1 car in one of these lanes, that's when you will start treating it as just a single space instead of a double space. And that's the only change with this Thunder Rally track. The regular racing is the same. It's a lot of double lane, and it's a lot of double and a lot of single lane spaces on this map, with a couple of straightaways that open up into 3 lanes. So this makes for, it can be a pretty brutal course. It's very competitive, fighting for position, and sticking with a group of cars. If you get separated from a group, you can rapidly fall behind on this map. And likewise, also up here, it tells you Thunder Rally, you're going to do 2 laps, and Grand Prix, you'll actually do 3 laps. That's the different tracks for the Thunder Rally track pack. Highly recommend this game. The track pack is great for. Would be a great addition for doing a season play. You can see that you'll have a lot of variation on different tracks. I think you'd have a total of 11 different tracks if you did all the different variations. So that can make for a really entertaining season and give you a lot of variety to each race. Check us out on our next How to Play video. Check out the review. You'll see more of my thoughts and Sabrina's thoughts on the game and the tracks and how they add to the game. Subscribe to our channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. Share us with your friends. Thanks for watching. Bye.